Breaking news.
Caleb Grill has been fired from the ISU basketball team.
Per sources, Caleb Grill has been released from the Iowa State basketball team due to conduct detrimental to the team.
Welcome back to Marv on Air. Today is Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. We've got a packed show for you guys, including a lot of different stuff, and it's all going to go ahead and start right now. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today, we've got the NBA potentially changing their overtime rules, which could be interesting to say the least. We're going to go over Mac Jones in New England, potential reports coming out that are alleged, of course. He hasn't backed them up at all, as why would he? We're going to go over that Caleb Grill thing we just went over in the intro, and we've got a very special interview with gymnast of Iowa State, Laura Cooke. I'm very excited for that. And then, obviously, to finish it all up, we've got the James Cup, which I can't wait to see what's popping in James' brain. So, we're going to hop over to the couch. What's going on, boys? Redbone and James, how are we doing?
Pretty good. Packed day.
We're doing great. We're fired up.
Awesome. And then Alex is, as usual, behind the hut, but he's not feeling so great, so we're not going to have a camera or a mic on him today, which is a shame, but we're very appreciative that he is running the hut. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the NBA overtime. So, in a Clippers game this last week, it went to double overtime, and, oof, man, can you imagine playing a double overtime game? It must have been real rough on Kawhi Leonard. He had to play 46 whole minutes, and they decided, hey, with that being said, we're going to have to go ahead and extend. Actually, what's it called when you do the opposite of extend? Like reduce? Yes. Reduce the overtime by potentially setting a point limit, which is interesting. I don't know how that's determined, if it's points added on to over, like, you know, the end of regulation, whoever scores 20 more or 25 more. But this is all done in an attempt to reduce overloading players on their minutes. Now, obviously, everybody back in the day used to play a lot more. I think we'll average 48 in a single season, 48 minutes a game. What are we thinking about that, Red? Is the new generation just soft, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I don't really get like why we're doing this exactly. I really don't think it's something that will end up going through. I think it's just like talk or speculation right now. I think that it's just something that they were like, you know, it's all the big thing in the NBA now is like load management and stuff like this. And it's like, okay, I get that they're playing 82 games, and then with the postseason, you know, they can play an additional like 28, I guess.
Right.
But you're still a professional athlete. It's still your job. People have been doing it forever. I don't know why now all of a sudden this is a big issue and why we're changing it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely, I think, something that's like a lot more modern day-esque. Like everything has to be, I don't know, the way it is. But James, do you think you could run up and down a court for 46 minutes, or do you think that they're justified in this change as someone who doesn't watch a lot of basketball, or do you think this is something that should just stay the way it is?
For millions of dollars a year, I think I could suck it up, especially if it's not gonna happen every single game. How often does a double overtime happen? And they changed this rule after one game.
Yeah, it was the result of one game.
I mean, I understand if it's like an ongoing situation, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with it personally, but it would add a certain wrinkle to it. Wasn't the NBA All-Star game a couple years back a point set where you had to get to like first team to get 180 points or something like that? I don't like that personally.
No.
But
it'd be really interesting to see like how they do like over-unders right now, because like right now
True.
If the game goes into overtime, it's just like, oh, well, you know, congratulations, the over's probably going to hit because they have an extra 5 minutes or whatever it is.
Right.
With
well,
that,
the lines will change, but like, do you mean
Yeah.
the lines before the game?
Yeah, and just like how Vegas would like decide to deal with potentially overtimes, just being like, okay, first team to 15 points or whatever. You know,
Right.
it'd be interesting
Maybe
to see
it'd
what
be
they
a new
do
bet.
there.
It's like who will score 10 first, who will score 15. Because I know in hockey it's like first to 3 shots on goal is the thing you can bet.
Yeah.
I definitely would be interested to see where the sports gambling side of it goes, because I know that's obviously it's only growing every single day, and that's something you have to take into account with everything along those lines. But I feel like it's kind of one of those things where we were talking about the 4th and 15 rule in the XFL. Remember how we kind of decided that it would be beneficial to more teams than others, right? Teams that are very offensive-oriented teams have a very large advantage. Like the Chiefs are pretty, like 80% probably, or not that high, but they're going to have a lot higher success rate on the 4th and 15. I wonder if that would be something that, like, 3-point teams, like, I don't know, maybe do you think teams could end up having an advantage in that kind of situation as opposed to just scoring more points?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that, like, the idea behind it, I feel like, is more to be like, okay, I don't think it's to shorten overtime. I think it's to eliminate the idea of going to a second overtime. Because if it's, first to, 15 or whatever they decide, then there's no second OT. But at the same time, what if they get cold? What if it takes them 4 hours to score, or like something like
true.
that,
So is it timed then? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. See, that's what
Alex,
I really don't get.
I think we have
I don't know why they do that.
The report, the graphic of it, we've got. It's just a little tweet here, and I don't think it talks about that. It's just talking about overloading player minutes, and so they were pretty vague. It doesn't sound like it's something that's going to probably change in the next 5 years or so. Alex, you can cut out of that. But I don't know if I like that rule. I'm not going to lie to you.
I really don't.
That's something I think we should probably stray away from. I mean, if the game goes to double overtime, yeah, you're going to have to run extra minutes. It means you're going to have to do some extra conditioning before that game. But speaking of...
What they should do is they should just have, like, each player in, like, the starting lineup shoots 2 free throws. And whoever out of 10, whatever team has the better...
Oh, gotcha.
Better free throw
almost
percentage.
Like a shootout.
I like
Yeah,
that.
Hockey.
it's
I
like-
like that way more.
It'd
you
be
think-
interesting.
At the end of like the first overtime, so keep that the same, and then it's
Yeah,
like a
and then
free
you
throw
go
shootout.
into a free throw shootout.
Interesting.
Players aren't going to get tired. It'll
Yep.
take 2 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
I'd even do that at the end of a game.
Really.
Yeah.
I always like.
I think that would be so cool at the end of like a game.
I always like looking forward to hockey shootouts. I think they're like one of the
Yeah.
most electric things in hockey. I'm not the most,
Or like
but up
penalty
there.
kicks in soccer.
Yes.
Like you don't want to watch the first 90 minutes. You just want to see if there's a penalty shootout.
Yeah, that's all I'm looking forward to. I know the whole game can't be penalty kicks, but it would be sick if it was. I know I'd watch.
It should be.
I know
I don't
would
know
watch.
why it's not.
I'd watch a lot more soccer, that's for sure. But speaking of keeping things the way they are, coaching has always been tough in the NFL. I feel like in the highest league, it's got to be tough. You got to know that this is the men's league. You're going to get graded a little bit tougher, and that's just kind of how it is. I feel like some organizations are tougher than others, and the Patriots has always been known as a very tough organization. Some have referred to it as military camp, not actually, but in the NFL, it's kind of been gauged that way. We don't have to cut to the graphic on this one, but the NFL has come out. I don't know who exactly reported it, but Mac Jones allegedly had to have been treated with more caution as far as like constructive criticism because it was affecting his like mindset. And they were like, you got to go softer on this guy, basically. I don't personally, as a Patriots fan, I don't like that.
No.
I feel like we need a guy
That's
that can.
scary.
We need
You don't want that.
No, we need a guy that can take the heat, right? It's not the opponents aren't going to be. I know he's played in like 2 seasons now, so he knows what the opponents are doing. But we can't have guys that are out there. They're just like, oh, if you say the wrong thing to me, I'm throwing off, and I can't hang.
Yeah, you can't be changing the mindset of the team and the environment that the Patriots is just for this one guy to not.
Right.
And moan about it.
No, I 100% agree. I think we know what works, and we should do that. I don't think we need to be like, well, he's actually kind of a softie, so let's just take it a little easy on him. But, hey, that linebacker that did not make his steps correctly, let's rip him a new one. That's just not fair to me. I feel like I know we've seen Tom Brady, when he was on the Patriots, he would get ripped. It came out in his podcast with Bill that apparently they knew, like, Tom was like, you have to rip me or else the guys aren't going to respect me. Right.
Yeah.
So he kind of like set it up that way, but it's always been like everyone's on the exact same playing field. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, is going to be conditioning with you guys. Tom Brady is going to get ripped if he makes a bad throw. Even if he threw for 450 yards and 2 touchdowns, he's still getting ripped for that throw because there's always room for improvement. I don't like that. This is not just the Patriots, right? It's Mac Jones is obviously the highlight of this conversation, but this is around the league. Coaches are starting to like change their mentality on how they're coaching certain players because others, they don't respond as well to that harsh criticism. I don't like that at all. I think it should just be like you have to do better, and then that player has to respond or they get cut. And like there are guys out there that will respond to that, in my opinion. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand like the like sports psychology side of it, where like there are people who if you get on them, they don't respond well, and then you have the Tom Brady's, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant's of the world, where if you yell at them, they're going to respond in a, way that's productive for the team.
Right.
I think that it's important to keep in mind who you are talking to.
Yeah.
But the idea that like I think the report said that Mac Jones played like worse or something when he got yelled at, and it was like a noticeable thing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's just Mac Jones is kind of soft.
That's what I thought.
And you don't want that to be the leader of your team. Like if it's a receiver, and it's like, hey man, you're all right. We're all right. We'll get him next time. That's fine.
Yep.
And I guess you can do that with your quarterback too. But at the same time, this is like the face of your team.
Yep.
He cannot be soft.
No, I thought for a second there you were gonna be like, "Hey, we have to like acknowledge this whole sports." Like, I'm like, bro, not if. And the leader of your team is a good point because that's the guy who's gonna have to rally the troops, right? He's the guy that's running the offense. If they're being soft to him, what is he doing out on the field?
There's like parts to understanding who you're yelling at.
Yep.
But at the same time, everyone should be yelled at, in my opinion. Like that's just part of it.
Everybody should be yelled at.
Yes.
I think
everybody should be yelled at, and the coach should also yell out compliments too.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
5th and 6th grade football, this dude was an asshole. Super mean. He was coaching for like 20 years. Dude was an asshole, but when he yelled at his players did it.
Yeah. Well, they respect you. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when he would give me a compliment, I'm like, oh,
the greatest day of my life.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly. I know what you're saying. And I also think I'm kind of piggybacking off of what you said, Redbone. If you're in the game, I don't think it's the right spot to be just ripping a guy. Like you can't be like, hey, you're horrible out there. You need to get better. Like, I guess there's probably a point where that comes into play. But on the sidelines, it probably should be more of a positive build-up mindset. And then in the locker room or in the film room is where it's like, hey, this was not acceptable. We need to make our reads faster. We need to be making these throws a little bit tighter, whatever it ends up. I don't know what they coach in the NFL locker rooms, but.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent. But, like, when you think about, like, in my opinion, like, the greatest, like, quarterback center duo is Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning. In my mind,
when they were just screaming at each other on the sideline.
Yeah, the best sideline clip in like NFL history is those two just screaming back and forth at each other.
I'll call the plays.
Yeah, and then then at the end of the day, they were both like, yeah, that was something that was good.
No,
like we just had to yell at each other, and we understand that like we're not actually like mad at the person, we're mad at the situation type deal, and like that's what you want the like leaders of your team to do. You don't want it to be like. In the Patriots organization, they're like, hey, don't be nice to Mac. Be nice to Mac.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, I
think you said that this was a pattern that's starting to happen more and more around the NFL.
I know that around the league, they're starting to kind of take into consideration how players respond to certain types of criticism.
You mentioned this earlier. Do you think this is from a sports psychology perspective, or do you think it's from like an upper management perspective?
It's probably from.
I'd say both.
I would say both, but I think more of like coaches that are seeing success. It's like just going to be an evolution thing, right? So coaches that see success that treat players differently, like so they might be tough on some, they might be like lighter on others, and they have success as they get jobs. They spread that information, and then more coaches start to adapt that. I don't know if it's necessarily like a GM. I wonder if that's probably what happened in New England, honestly.
I don't know. There might be some people on the sidelines that whisper into other people's ears, and then they're like, he's really digging into this guy, and I think he should, calm down and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it was like there wasn't like a sports psychologist or a GM specifically. I think it's just like generally understood like part of coaching is knowing your players, and it just for some reason came out as news that Mac Jones is someone you want to coach more gently, I guess.
Yep.
But like I don't think it's like which is scary to say about a quarterback.
Yeah.
But, like I mean that's just part of coaching, right? Is like understanding your player and knowing how to best motivate them.
Yeah.
But like I mean you have like you were saying, Nick, like in the league, there's people like Bill Belichick, and then there's on the like polar opposite, you have like Mike McDaniels.
Yep.
You know, and it's just where we're going in the future. I'm guessing is probably going to be more towards Mike McDaniels.
Oh, 100%.
But I mean, which one's better? I mean, who really knows?
Who wins more? I guess.
Yeah.
If you look at the Patriots' last 2 seasons, you wouldn't be saying it's Bill. So I mean,
It's true.
I don't know, but as a Patriots fan, I know that I will take the stance that Mac Jones should be graded hard, right? But
Yeah.
I also see where you're coming from with understanding where players are and how they best respond. Because if you have a stud receiver and you yell at him and he plays poorly, yeah, you probably shouldn't be as hard on him. Like, let's just be real here. Probably want to keep him on your team.
Yeah.
So there is both sides of the coin. I see that, but my official stance is like, bro, you can't be just going soft on your quarterback. Like at that point, and I'm a Mac Jones hater, so take this with a grain of salt, but I think you need a new quarterback at that point. I'm not a big Mac guy. I know they're giving him one more year with what's the Brian, who's our new OC? It's
The dog from Family Guy?
yeah.
Flores.
No, he's
He's
been
the
around
defensive coordinator.
the Patriots for a long time. I can't
It's
remember.
the guy with the beard.
Yeah, he's been around
How can you
and done
not?
a lot of. I know know it. I just can't think of it. But
Brian Griffin.
it's definitely not Brian Griffin. It is. And maybe it's not even a Brian. Do you have it?
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. Yes, I knew Brian
Should've
was
known
in
that,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know it because he's been on the team like
Yeah.
5 times. But he. I know that like they're gonna give Mac another shot with Bill O'Brien, and I think they probably should. And I think our offensive scheme last year was just horrible. If we look at the tape.
It was Matt Patricia last year, wasn't it?
And some other guy who used to coach the Giants, right? He's like 80. It was 2 guys, so
Coughlin?
it could have been. I don't know,
But
but
he's like 98. There's no way he was on a sideline.
I know it was 2 different
Tom
guys.
Coughlin?
But I would look it up. That sounds right because I know it was Matt Patricia and someone else, and our scheme was bad. Honestly, I liked where we were with the slot receivers running horizontally on the field. I like that a lot, and I think Mac could thrive from that. I know we brought in one of his college teammates for a workout, could potentially build some chemistry there. I'm not saying Mac isn't a guy. I'm just saying, as a Patriots fan, I want to see some grit from our quarterback. Is that too much to ask?
I wouldn't be too worried about it because, like, I think this is just one of those kind of like sham releases that they're just like somehow some reporter got a hold of and blew it out of the water because like he did come from Alabama. And, like
I was
Saban is
thinking
not
of
going
that
to
too.
baby people.
It could have just been like the next 4 plays he did dog shit.
Right.
Instead of 3 weeks afterward he was still just fumbling balls and shit.
Yeah, and I think obviously there's the clip that went viral this year of him screaming at Matt Patricia on the sideline. I did not personally like that. I know it happens all the time, and with more cameras and more social media, it's much more prevalent now. How many times did Tom Brady yell at the coaching staff? Probably too many times to even count.
Yeah.
Right? Like the greatest players are going to argue with their coaches and try to get things the way they can succeed, like get conditions to where they can succeed. I understand that, but it was, I don't know, something about him has this whole whiny personality. That's why I've been on the Bailey Zappi train since the second he stepped in, and Bailey Zappi seemed like just a guy. He's a pocket passer just like Mac. He didn't have that super tubby picture, unfortunately, not like Tom Brady. Like, he doesn't have that going for him, but he's always seemed like that calm pocket presence, and he can take criticism, and he's just like very level-headed. Like, you can yell at me, whatever. So that's where I'm standing on the Bailey Zappi Mac Jones thing. I know we're not probably going to see that for another year at least. Depends on what Mac does this year, but I think that's an important conversation to have with, like, where's the league going with these coaches? I think we need to evaluate that. But pivoting towards Iowa State athletics, Caleb Grill was released from the Iowa State basketball team, and it's been known on the program before. I don't unfortunately follow the basketball team close enough. I know we've kind of been on a bit of a skid recently, and Redden tells me that Caleb Grill's a pretty good shooter for us. Is that something to be concerned about, do you think?
Yeah, he's our top 3-point shooter, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Iowa State, like you said, is in a skid right now. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to affect a postseason run. It's not going to be good. I mean, in terms of just depth, we're losing like one of our guys who was probably, I'm guessing, like top five players. He was a starter.
Yeah.
So it's like you're losing a decent amount of your minutes, and that's going to hurt depth. But we just lose a shooter, our best shooter. It's like,
and shooters are very important in today's game.
yeah, that really takes a lot away from
the team,
what you can do as a basketball team.
Right.
But I mean, they wouldn't release him or remove him or whatever it is without good reason, So hopefully it's something that the program is better off because of it. But I don't know. That's to be seen, I guess.
Yeah, James, you've been to a few games. What did Grill pass the eye test for you, or are you kind of one of those guys that's not really paying attention to players?
I held his sign. That's about it.
What is that?
That's about it.
Did you make a corny grill joke at all?
What do you mean?
Like, did you say anything like the grill's heating up, or
I think the sign
Fire up the
said
grill?
"Fire
Yeah.
up the grill."
fire
Yeah.
up the grill? Okay, I
I
like
held
that.
his sign. That's all I know about him.
I'd say that's probably going to have the biggest effect on the team. We're not going to have those grill,
Yeah.
comments to make. I do want to see how this affects our March Madness run. I wasn't exactly super confident in us making maybe the Elite Eight or the Final Four. That's definitely a stretch, but without a big shooter, I don't know how much of a role he played in the offense, like how many points per game he was averaging or anything like that. But I know if he was a starter, obviously you never want to lose a starter. No, that's definitely no good. Did you have something to add?
I mean, who knows when like the actual information comes out or if it ever does.
Yeah,
But
he has released a statement. I don't know if
He
Red has that
averaged
out.
like 31 minutes a game.
Ooh, yeah, we're losing a guy. I wonder if we'll bring anyone in or if we're just I don't know how college athletics really works as far as depth.
I mean, you
and-
can't pick up free agents.
Okay.
I guess you can sign people like from your student body.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of years back where Nebraska's basketball team was really short. Like they just had like 5 injuries, 6 injuries, and you only have 15 guys on your roster. So like for practices and stuff, if you only have 8, 9 guys there, who are able to practice, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah,
So
you
they
need more
had
guys than that.
I want to say like an offensive tackle from the football team and our backup quarterback play. And they actually like played in the Big Ten basketball tournament just because we had nobody else to play.
Really?
So yeah, some of our football team played in the basketball tournament, which
Interesting.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, there's always something. What was that look for, James?
yeah, I understand if you want him to substitute on the rugby team, but fucking basketball?
Basketball's very the
They
shot
looked
is
like
very
throughout the athletic department, and we're like, okay, these are the best 2. It wasn't like they just like
pick 2 random
Yeah,
guys.
I get that.
didn't
But
have
damn,
a random
is
name
that
generator.
This is the fucking
Yeah.
wheel.
That's
Oh man.
a tackle?
They didn't walk into. He was like a
big post guy.
skinnier guy. Yeah.
Oh, skinnier guy. Gotcha.
He
Yeah,
might have been a tight end.
Well, there's definitely something
That
to
would
be
make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Tight end would make a lot of sense.
there's something to be said about like athletes being able to perform in a lot of different environments. Obviously, I think I'm comfortable in saying most D1 athletes played multiple sports in high school. So I'm sure
Yeah.
both of those guys had a background in basketball at least at some point. And I would love to see. I didn't think about pulling from other sports. I would love to see which sports do they pull from. Maybe do they pull like David Carr potentially? Who knows?
That's
Wrestler
at the same
basketball
time.
wrestler basketball duo
Yeah.
first
Who
of all
knows?
time.
What's interesting about all of this is that the way the press releases were like released, because like Iowa State announced it, and then like at the same time, an Iowa State like website released an article, like a pre-written article, and then Caleb Grill had a pretty lengthy like notes app, like thank you thing, corny as fuck, but like pre-wrote out as well. So they must have said like, hey, at 5 o'clock or whatever on Wednesday, we're going to announce this.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a
So he knew.
rush thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you know, I guess that adds something to it too. But it's just not a good look for Iowa State athletics. And
Not
then
at all.
for our basketball team, and obviously, with this new information, where do you think we'll go in the tournament then? Are you looking at maybe like around a 32 exit? Do you think we get the first one?
Oh, no, I don't think we win first round.
Really? You think
What
we're
are we?
done
What are
quick?
we going to be, like an 8 seed? 9 seed?
Something
That's
like
generous.
that.
11?
Yeah, I think it's probably closer to 11.
So that means that we're playing like a 5 or a 6 seed?
We were on such a
No.
hot streak too, though. That's the thing. Like we looked good early, and then
That was when Grill was playing.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt versus Texas, and that's where kind of the skid started, and we just haven't been the same team since.
Dang.
And now he's not even on the team. So.
Yeah. Did you go to any of the recent games, James, at all?
No.
I know you went to the Kansas game. Is that right?
Yeah, we went to the Kansas game. That was fun. But no, I have no interest in going to those games.
No, what? What does that mean? The basketball games?
Zero interest.
Yeah, unless I'm like literally in the front row, I don't want to go to those games.
Really? What games do you like to go to then? Football?
Any game, but I need to be in the front row.
Well, that's kind of picky. of you.
Yeah.
That's just how I am.
You just don't-
I don't want to be like 7 rows back.
Yeah, you're like a fair weather fan. Typical Iowa State fan. It's
Yeah, that's me.
It's kind of how we seem to roll. Everyone wants to go when, times are high, but
What do you think the
When you're in the
reading
dog
level
days.
of that statement is?
yeah, I read through it quick before we went live here, and I did find one typo that makes no sense. Caleb Grill in his notes app apology or whatever said, I played with passion every single night on the court and never took a second for granted. He said for granted, not for granted, like for like your countertops. He
Oh.
never took a second for granite countertops.
Never.
Yeah,
Big rock guy.
yeah.
What's his major? Is he a geology major? Maybe he
Yeah,
just thought
that's
he was
probably
doing
why
it.
he's dismissed. He's got to go, search for like dinosaur bones or something in granite rock. I don't know, but interesting take by him. Never took a second for granite.
Yeah, I must be confusing homework assignments with.
With his geology 302 class. Happens to the best of us.
Rocks and shit.
Yeah.
Have you guys taken Geology 101? It's like
No. Not on purpose.
not on purpose. I've heard that's like a really easy class. I've heard a lot of people take it just for like
Just
an
for the
easy
hell of
A.
it? Yeah.
Easy A. We're working on getting our guest in here. Allegedly, she has not received the email, so I just told her to check outside of organization stuff because we are not a part of the Iowa State. Our email is not confirmed by Iowa State. Unfortunately, it should be.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not. The more I think about it.
I mean, yeah, we're supporting this Iowa State gear all over. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, we really don't know much about Iowa State, but
Yeah, I guess now
We're
that we
here.
think about it, yeah,
we are students.
we're just saying that we don't really understand what's going on in the basketball team, and then we expect them to back our program. What are we doing
Maybe
here?
we should just become like a anti-Iowa State podcast.
I personally couldn't, but
Yeah, I
what
couldn't
would you want to be a Huskers program?
Yes.
Interesting. I couldn't do that. I don't know anything about Huskers.
I know more about their stuff than I do Iowa State, but
Well, I know nobody wants to hear about it. I know that
well,
much.
maybe not in Ames, Iowa, but I'm sure over in Lincoln they'd tune in.
Well, maybe if you could get the link out there, see what they have to say.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not even from Nebraska, though.
I mean, my bloodline is same thing.
Well, barely.
You're not from New England.
Okay, but I am from Iowa. I like Iowa State. There's no professional football teams in Iowa.
Yeah, but Iowa's not remotely close to Boston.
This is true.
So like,
I've
I don't like this argument by you.
I've put out on the internet why I'm a New England fan, and I don't need to tell it again. But
Nebraska's way closer to Iowa than
so you
Boston.
just picked a close place.
No, I'm a fan because of like my family's from Nebraska, and my dad's a diehard Nebraska fan.
Is
Like-
that really a good reason?
Like 8-year-old me isn't gonna like there's Nebraska stuff all over the house and be like, let me look on Google Maps quick and see what the closest team is. We're
I feel
from
like
Iowa
you would,
City
you
area.
would totally do that.
We're from Iowa City area anyways. What are we doing? What are you doing rooting for Iowa State if this is your argument?
I suppose. But I was actually originally not from the Iowa City area, so that's why I moved over there. Is that that's not valid or what?
Where are
No.
you from originally?
No.
I was actually born in Oklahoma City.
So why are you not an Oklahoma Sooners fan?
Well, I lived there for like
No, that's where you were born. That's
I
where
was
you're from.
born there. Where were you born? Iowa City?
Cedar Rapids, actually.
Okay, so why are you not a UNI fan?
Who says I'm not?
You.
Yeah. Well, why would you cheer for UNI? They're like D2, maybe.
No, they're D1.
Or they're FCS, aren't they?
They're D1.
Do they
Yeah.
wrestle Division 1?
I think so.
Huh.
Alex, we're good.
Never knew that about you and I.
They are
What a
D1,
wonderful
barely.
place.
They're like they got to be the smallest D1
Ever?
of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. No way. There's a school.
I don't know if
bigger
I
than
would
that.
take a D1 to UNI, but that's just me. I'd much rather end up at a D2, I think, and get more
I
playing
don't
time.
think you're
Yeah.
a D1 football player if you play at UNI.
That's how I've always viewed it. Do you think?
It's Division 1 football.
Because it's so. What is? I was thinking about this the other day. What does FBS and FCS stand for? I don't know. What is it? Because I was like, well, so if there's a BS and a CS, why is there not like an FAS, like ABC? You know what I'm saying?
That's a
Bro.
very, very good question.
It must stand for something. It's not just like letters.
So there's FBS is football bowl division
Oh, so they get to go
or
to the Bulls.
subdivision, and then the FCS is football championship subdivision.
Interesting. So they must compete for championships and not
Well,
bowls.
they do like a playoff. FCS does.
Is it like all of them do the?
No, I want to say it's like, is it an 8-team playoff? 16-team playoff?
So it's
Not
the top
sure.
16 then? That would be
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
football.
We don't really
I know,
We
but
don't
this
really
is
know.
this is like goofy.
Well, unfortunately,
technical
we don't know
garbage.
enough either.
There's more than 4 teams in it. We'll go with that.
All right. Well,
So,
let's
like,
go
what,
ahead.
5?
Let's go.
The
More
official
than 4?
position is there's more than 4.
Yeah, we'll end on that because we do officially have our guest in the Zoom today. Joining us now, an all-around gold 2-time international winner, first English gymnast to ever win the, correct me if I'm wrong here, Laura Cooke Cup, Laura Cooke. How we doing, Laura?
I'm so good, thank you. Guys?
was I pretty close on the
Yeah,
Laura Cooke?
very close.
Interesting.
Leverkusen, yep.
Okay. Can you run me through that meet? Was that obviously you must have absolutely dominated there. How was it competing at that kind of event?
Yeah, so it was an international competition back home before I came to college. I represented England, went to Germany, Leverkusen, and I don't have much like faith in myself, so it was very like a shock. I had no idea like what was going on, but just had a really good meet. And then they called out my name that I'd won the all-around gold. So yeah, super fun.
Can't complain about that. It's surprising that you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself when you look at all of the accolades. I mean, we just took a class together, and I was like, oh, okay, we'll get a gymnast on. And then you were like, oh, okay, so she's won just about every medal I've ever seen. Okay, good to know. What was this is going to sound so corny, but the training in UK obviously is, I would assume, much different than you obviously mentioned you transferred over to Iowa State in the United States. What would you say was the biggest difference between a UK training regimen and a college USA regimen?
I think that, like, obviously I liked gymnastics back home, but, like, college gym is so fun. And, like, having a lot of girls my age here is awesome because, like, I was the oldest back home. Like, everyone else was, like, 10 years old. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. Like, all the little girls I would train with, which was also really nice because, like, they looked up to me and stuff. But it's so nice here to have, like, people your age going through the same kind of thing as you. And obviously it was a lot, like, stricter back home, and it had to be because, like, we weren't adults and didn't really know what we were doing. So, like, anything I was told to do, I would do. But yeah, it's just much more like fun and calm over here, I would say.
How do you stay competitive when everybody else is like 10 years old?
That's
Like
crazy.
I'd go insane. I don't like being around
think-
people that are like 4 years younger than me. Like
See,
they just
like,
kind of get
I
annoying
like
after
the
a
fact
while.
that- Nah, I love little people, and I like the fact that, like, they looked up to me. Like, I think that was really cool. Like,
I
it
get
was
that.
kind of like, yeah, I was like their inspiration. That sounds so corny as
So
well.
did
but,
that
like,
did that motivate you to like be better and like look better in their eyes? Okay.
for sure, like, I had to, like, be a role model to them, and, like, my coach would always say, like, if you work hard, like, this is what you guys can get to as well. So, yeah, that was, like, my motivation, I guess.
Interesting.
Over here in practice, do you have any like? I don't mean this in like a mean way, but do you have any like
Okay. Interesting.
like a rival on the team you'll compete with, like a friend?
I feel like I'm not a competitive person. Well, I am, but very like inwardly. So like in previous years when like I was fighting for my spot in lineup, like there was obviously like people I was competing with, but I never saw it like that because I'm very much like if you think like if the coach thinks they deserve it more than I do, then like I trust their decision. Like I was never like had like beef with anyone or anything like that. But
No,
now like I have my spot in lineup, so I guess I'm not like I don't know, I'm not a very competitive person.
I
all right.
gotcha. Circling back to the 10-year-old, I had a quick question. So obviously you're competing with some of the best at extremely young ages. Was there, like, when you were really young, was there a moment when you kind of knew, oh, like, I'm going to take this gymnastic thing and run with it? Or were you just kind of like doing gymnastics for fun, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, all right, we're pretty decent at this?
Yeah, it was so I got put in gymnastics like with my sister when I was 4 years old by our parents just to do like a bit of fitness and exercise and stay fit. And
Hmm.
I never ever like once thought like I'm gonna go to America and do college gymnastics. Like it's always been a very big part of my life. So I think obviously was very like serious about it, and I never like envisaged life without gymnastics. That sounds so sad. But no, I never like there wasn't really a turning point where I was like I could actually like use all this years of like gymnastics to like get me to the other side of the world.
Yeah, did you
I never really thought that.
know what was, I mean, I never thought that, I guess I assumed that that's given, but like, what is there other options than coming to the United States, or is that kind of known to be like
Yeah.
that's the goal is to get to the United States?
I had a couple friends who did this, which was the only reason I knew about it. And like I traveled to the States a lot to like all the big ones like New
Hmm.
York, Vegas, Florida for like vacations and stuff, but had never ever heard of Iowa.
Yeah, I say
Um,
travel to Iowa.
no, absolutely not. But the options back home were like you either go to university for school or you go like professional sports. And obviously, there's absolutely zero money in gymnastics.
Yeah,
So
fair.
I was just gonna take the like school route. But then we applied with an agency, and like they sent out all my videos to like all the universities across America, and then here I am at Iowa State.
So you didn't get scouted or anything?
No,
No.
Interesting.
it was just like, well, I mean, technically, I guess it's like getting scouted because like they see your videos and then decide like if they want you or not. So like a few colleges reached out. Like I was supposed to go to Pittsburgh.
Oh,
I think I had Southern Utah as well. But
okay.
when I visited Iowa State, that was what like really sold me.
Okay, well,
Hmm.
oh, I was gonna say what really would bring you to Iowa State, but yeah, I
Yeah.
fell in love with the campus as well, so I could definitely see where you're coming from. You mentioned there's not a lot of money in gymnastics. Obviously, you're
Hmm.
an exercise science major. I know you're kind of interested in the whole how things work, like training and all of that. And we can get into more of the training behind gymnastics because I'm very interested in how you guys get the grip strength to fling around on bars and hang on like that. But what do you think you're going to do? I know you're a senior. You're coming up on kind of the end of this tenure here. What are you thinking for after? You're going to do some coaching and maybe end up doing gymnastics more, or are you kind of looking to pivot away?
It's a really touchy subject right now because I have a lot of like questions in my head about like the future and stuff. Um, but we also have our COVID year like still as an option.
Oh,
Mm.
So
yes.
yeah, since I was a freshman when COVID happened, they gave us all another year of eligibility, which is a really cool opportunity. And like ultimately, I would like to end up here. So I'm kind of like, it's an opportunity. Why would I not do gymnastics for another year?
100%.
So yeah, that's kind of in the works right now. And then in terms of like school and stuff, I'd probably just like do a grad certificate or another minor or something like that. And then um working at state gym right now actually. Did a bit of coaching previously, but like yeah, just I do want to stay involved in gymnastics in some way, but I'm not sure that I'd like end up being a coach. I'll
Right.
always like it'll always be a part of my life, and I'll always go in the gym and like play about, and like I'll always do it, but I'm not sure that I will stay in it forever. It's
Right.
taken up a large part of my life.
100%. So with that extra year, obviously that's more time on the mat. This obviously, I went in and looked at the Juicy Wiggle floor routine as an Iowa State goer. I loved that routine. I guess my question would be, how did you come onto the Juicy Wiggle routine? That's that's brilliant. I loved that routine. And then also, how has the season been going this far? And then if you do another year, obviously, do you think you can go up from here, or what are you looking to improve?
So Juicy Wiggle, actually, really funny you should say that because like when I picked that music, so we get to pick our own like floor music, and I picked it with my mum back home over the summer, like a few years ago. Had no idea what the Juicy Wiggle was. Absolutely no idea.
You didn't even know? No way.
No idea. I didn't know any Iowa State songs except Sweet Caroline, and I didn't even know it because like of football. Like I knew it because we sing Sweet Caroline back home. So
Oh my
stumbled
gosh.
It's really embarrassing.
I've never
stumbled
heard that song
across
before I
Juicy
got here.
Wiggle. You've never heard of Juicy Wiggle?
No, before he
No,
got here.
before I got here.
Oh.
No, Juicy Wiggle. I
Oh.
never heard it before I got here either. How did that?
I was like, what is that?
What are you
Why is
listening to in your
everybody
free time?
dancing?
And then we like heard the music. It was like this specific floor music, and I was like, wow, that's like cool. It's like upbeat, like fun. Yeah. And then I came back, and they like choreographed it like as Juicy Wiggle, and like started like talking about all the like fun things they do.
Right.
And I was so confused. I was like, I have no idea what this means. And then the first time I competed in Hilton, everyone went absolutely crazy. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't even know what this is. And it was only like last year I realized like they play it like that's our song. And like, yeah, so that was how that happened.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
Funny, yeah. And now I feel like I just have to keep it like every year. I think I've had it the past 2 or 3 years.
Oh, I
and,
didn't know
like,
you got to keep the
I
same
can't.
one.
You don't have to, but I just feel like I should because it's
Oh,
Juicy Wiggle and like everyone goes crazy in Hilton. This year was really cool. They got customized like towels that say Juicy Wiggle on them, and like when I was doing my floor routine, they all pulled out the towels and like started waving them about. So that was really fun.
Dang, that is super cool.
How long does it
Yeah.
take to like think up of a new routine and then do it and then take it to a meet? Is it called a meet?
Or
I don't
new
know.
choreography for the same song. I would imagine that's not super easy either.
Yeah, I mean we're very used to it at this point, so like you can get it done in a day for sure. It just takes a while, especially for me to like yeah.
To like really
A
get
few
it down
hours.
too.
To really get it down, like you have to really grow into it. I feel like I know the dance, but it takes a while for you to like really get into it. Like this is my 3rd year doing it, and I've only now mastered the facials and everything.
Oh, true. They grade you on all of that stuff, like the fingers, and yeah, it's very intricate. Redden, do
It's
you
a
have
really big part of it.
100%?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So when you're done with school and all that stuff, do you plan to go back to England,
Oh, good
or are you
question.
planning on staying in the States?
I want to stay in the States. I really
Let's
do.
go! Yes!
Yeah.
Let's keep her here.
But it's
One
so
for the good
tricky.
guys.
It's so hard. It's like you have to, because I'm on a
T's
student
better over here,
visa
too.
right now. So like I'd have to be on a work visa or like a green card, and like it's just so hard to like figure it all out. Like there's a lot of stress in my head because I really don't want to get deported, but yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to get deported.
No, I do want to stay here ultimately, but like if it means that I have to go home for a bit, like find a job out here, like yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I've been cooking up this question.
Oh,
Have you ever
jeez.
heard of the gymnast Livy Dunn?
Oh, God.
How good is she?
Oh my goodness. Anytime you talk to anyone about gymnastics who like isn't really in the gymnastics world, that is all they talk about is Livy Dunn.
Oh, look at this guy.
I told you.
Absolute. What,
Sorry.
I'm basic.
Come on.
No,
But I want to
she-
know because she's huge.
So is she really that good?
Is
Yeah.
she good though?
She good or just hot?
Oh, my God.
Real question.
So, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of LSU gymnastics team. I know, like, I and some other girls on the team have, like, beat her on bars and stuff before.
Ooh,
she's a really
she's
good
personally
gymnast.
beat. Oh, let's go. Oh.
She is a really good gymnast, like, really good. And, like, when she was little especially. But, like, I know now that she hasn't been competing because she had some, like, injuries. Like, I think she tore her labrum. But, like, she is really a good gymnast. And I like like props to her that she's like taken her looks and like her platform and like used it to the best of her ability. Because like some people like are very envious of that, but like I think like all props to the girl. Like fair play. Like you made the most of what you had, and I think good job. Like yeah.
100%. So you mentioned that you had beat her on the bars, and obviously,
Yeah.
I feel like you're most known for your floor, at least around Iowa State with the Juicy Wiggle. How could you not be? Have you always just done floor and bars, or have you experimented with other like events, or how does that look?
So before I came here, I was like an all around. So I did vault, bars, beam, and floor.
Oh, vault,
And then
sick.
coming here, we're more of like a specialist team. So I like those were the two that I focused on, but I still trained like all around. And then this year and last year, I really just focused in on vault, bars, and floor. But I'd never like really competed vault until this year. Like I
Okay.
had my debut, yeah, at the Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, I
Actually,
was gonna ask about
so
that. That's such a cool event.
yeah, it was really cool. There was a lot going on. I was very overwhelmed because it was the first time I'd ever like competed vault, but I competed it and got a career high,
Let's go. All
obviously.
right.
So yeah, it was really fun. Yeah.
So, can you walk me through what the Beauty and the Beast is for those that don't know?
Please.
So I honestly had no idea either what it was until it happened. But it's basically where wrestling and gymnastics go at the same time. So like Hilton was like split in half, the arena, and like it was gymnastics and the wrestling mat, and like everything was going on at the same time. So like they wouldn't stop to wrestle like when we would go, and like eyes were everywhere. The arena was so packed. Like it was funny because they were wrestling to like we get to pick like theme songs. So
Oh my
like a
God.
lot of the girls had like country music to their theme songs, and they were wrestling to country music. So it was really funny.
That's
But no, it
funny.
was a really good time.
This
Yeah.
already happened.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes.
They do it every year, though, I believe. So.
That sounds
We
like
haven't done it in a few years, but we like that was since COVID. So hopefully they'll do it next year as well. So you
I would
guys will
love to
have to
go.
come.
That'd be hilarious
Yeah.
to watch like younger have to wrestle to like let it go or something. That would
Yeah.
be incredible.
Yeah, some Doja Cat song.
Dude, that's an announcer's nightmare right there. How are they gonna? That's like
Yeah.
so much going
I
on.
know. Well,
Like with-
Younger was actually going while I was on floor, and like the announcer, like my music was about to start, but the announcer was like commentating something about Younger, and like everyone was like cheering and making noise, and then I couldn't hear my floor music.
Oh no! I'm
So
sure
it must
there's.
have been really stressful.
I'm sure there's definitely some logistical issues. Was there anyone that you? I don't know if you watch a lot of wrestling. Was there anyone you were trying to watch and you kind of conflicted with your events, or?
Not me personally, but I actually think I think it was Younger, and like I don't know wrestling, but like they did it's not called a play. They did something, and the audience didn't like it because it wasn't like in Younger's favor. But one of our girls had just finished her floor routine, and she was like celebrating, but like everyone was booing because they were booing for Younger. It was so sad, and it was like the whole arena was like booing, but like
Oh,
she
no.
just finished her floor routine. So that was
is
really awkward,
terrible
but
timing.
yeah.
They
And
should
then
do
we
more
also-
sports like that.
That'd be a
It's
good
really
story in
fun.
like 2 months, but I'd be devastated.
Yeah.
I'd
It's
be
one of those things that's like
devastated.
funny after the fact, but
Yeah.
yeah, not really at the time. No,
So
that
then
is.
at the end of the meet, like we'd finished before wrestling was done. So like it was nice because we all got to sat and watch. I think Sam was the last one. So yeah, we were all like cheering for Sam. So that was kind of cool.
Dang, that's a hard meet to beat, I think. I feel like just the atmosphere would be insane. And there's some crazy logistical things I didn't think about, like teammates, or not teammates, but the crowd booing for the wrestling while the gymnastics, like a floor routine finish like that.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But is there a different meet that, like, really stands out in your memory? Like, man, that one was really memorable, really exciting to live out. And maybe, maybe one of these gold medals. You have so many gold medals, I don't know how you can pick one. But, anything along those lines?
Ooh. In terms of college, I would say our conference championships last year, I believe it was. We were so close to beating Oklahoma, who are the
Oh.
national champions. Yeah,
would be
we were
sweet.
so close. And
That
it was
would
a
be-
really
Oklahoma's
like exciting meet. It was really good. But we didn't. They won in the end. And then I don't know about internationals. I did the British championships back home, so that's like our like national championships. Is in a really cool arena in Liverpool. Don't know if you know the football team, the soccer team.
Of
my
course.
team, Liverpool. Shout out. The
Shout out
only team.
Liverpool. Yep.
Yeah, that's where the arena is, and it's like huge. and they have like
Whoa.
massive, like when you walk out the tunnel, it's like smoke and fire, and like, yeah, that's a really cool one to go to.
That would be hard to beat.
Yeah.
Have you ever been screwed over by judges, in your opinion? Or
Getting
All
into
the time.
Really?
Because it's so
All the
subjective, right?
time.
Like it's all just
so
what they
subjective.
think.
It's more subjective than like diving.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh. Because like it's not like a swim meet where like you win the race, like done by time. Like football, you cross the line, like you get the touchdown. I don't know all these football terms.
That was pretty good. Aced it.
But yes, I'm only just learning how like subjective it is, and I think like having meet after meet after meet, like it's the saddest thing when you think you've hit like the best routine you've ever done, and then like someone else's opinion, like obviously. But I get that it's part of the sport, and the main thing is just like the hope that it's fair for everybody. So.
Right. As long as the judges are fair amongst everybody, even if you might
Yes.
get screwed over a little bit, at least it's fair. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you kind of touched on it there. I'm interested. So you said you don't really understand the football terminology, touchdown. You aced it. It was good work. But coming
Thank
to
you.
America and watching these different sports that are probably not very prevalent in England, is there one that like really stood out to you? Is like really, what are these guys doing, or that's like really fun to watch?
The first time I went to a college football game, I was like, what on earth is all this hype about? Like, they stop every 10 seconds. Like, they're wearing pads for a start. Like, rugby, our rugby boys back home, like, they just hit into each other, no helmets, no pads. Like, I was so confused. But now, like, I understand it more, and, like, I've been to a lot more games, and, like, a lot of my friends and stuff, like, I get it. I get it a lot more, and, like, I do enjoy it much more now, and I've sat through a lot of football games and then negative weather.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
Dedicated
yeah,
fan.
I know it is major dedication, especially because I still don't really know what's going on. But like, it interests me. Like, I do think it's really cool, and that's where all the money is. So like,
True.
best to learn now, I guess.
Yeah, and I think Jack Trice is a fun place to watch football too. It's not the best, stadium in America, but it's up there. Juicy Wiggle. I mean,
It's fun.
we got a good
I
environment.
love the
I
juicy
would-
wiggle.
I was in her position a year and a half ago.
When they yeah.
I'm not
James.
joking, dude.
Oh my god! On a sports podcast, doesn't even know what American sports are.
No.
Yeah.
So when they whip out the Juicy Wiggle in Jack Trice, do you start doing your floor routine or what?
Yes, I do actually. I'm in the front row of our
my-
section doing the juicy wiggle. Yeah, and my floor routine.
Wow.
It's kind of embarrassing. So just pretend you don't know me if you ever see me on the screen.
Well, I'll be looking out for that. Thank you a lot for coming on here, Laura. We just quick shout out because obviously you don't have to. I'm not gonna lie. I did not know that you were such a prevalent, huge gymnast. I kind of felt bad asking you to come on after seeing you had multiple like gold medal and championships deals here. But we really appreciate you coming on. I know a lot of like my sisters wanted to see a gymnast come on the program and all that kind of stuff. But we really appreciate it. I know these guys probably not super thrilled, but I think. Well, James, you didn't even know.
We got an athlete on
I
here.
would
Asking
say
about
that-
Livy
yeah.
Dunn over here.
Not
I just
super
wanna know how
thrilled's
good
not
she
the right
was.
word.
Well,
No, it's okay. I appreciate you guys like giving us a platform because gymnastics doesn't get like a lot of recognition. So like, I love that. Like, this has been really cool. And even if it is because of Libby Dunn, it's fine.
well, if you have any other gymnasts that would like to come on, we send them our contact info. We would love to have them on. But I have one more technical question. I saved it for the end because I know not a lot of people are interested in it. But obviously, I'm a kinesiology major. James is a kinesiology major. You're a kinesiology major. What does the training, conditioning, what does that all look like? I can't imagine you guys run touchdowns or sprints or anything like that. I would imagine most of your training is done in the actual like gym, not like the lifting gym, but like the gymnast gym. Do you guys do a lot of lifting outside of that, or how does that look?
So in season, we lift less. Like over the summer and like preseason is when we do most of our like lifting and stuff. But it's actually cool talking to other sports because I never realized either that like football don't actually like play football. Like,
Right.
especially right now, like all they're doing is lifting. And like even during season, like they only have like one day a week where they like run into each other. Yeah, I don't know the technical terms. But like that was crazy to me because obviously like we're doing our routines like every single day. Like the thing that we're competing, like we do multiple of them every single day, which I think is like partly why like our bodies are very unwell by like age 25 because you're doing that all the time. Like people told me if we like did football plays like all the time football, like we genuinely wouldn't be alive.
Oh
And
yeah,
that like makes
100%.
sense. But yeah, it's largely like we're very like gymnastically fit. So like
Yes.
we do conditioning in the gym, so it's like leg lifts, rope climbs, pull-ups, like things that are gonna help like gymnastics, obviously. In terms of like lifting, we still do lift weights as well, but especially right now it's more like tailored towards gymnastics.
True, especially with the end of the season coming. Well, we wish you the best
Thank you.
in the postseason or in these last couple meets, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye out to see what you're able to accomplish. And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll have a recap, another meeting where we recap how everything went. But thank you so much for coming on here, and we couldn't thank you enough.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, that was cool.
That was insightful.
I think the craziest thing of that was she didn't even know Juicy Wiggle was, picked it.
No,
Yeah, that's
the
nuts.
most crazy.
How?
There it is.
How in the world? I don't. That's beyond me.
And
but-
and then she was like, I want to go to Iowa State.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like what?
Yeah, I went to L.A., New York, and Vegas, and landed on Ames, Iowa.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
like,
pick a cornfield.
yeah,
Yeah, where
Yeah.
they're
super cold.
I think she just visited those places for vacation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iowa State does have a
for
great
sure.
campus, though.
We
So,
do.
Like, it
That
makes
was-
sense.
I mean, I only toured Iowa State. I was like, all right, yeah,
Yeah.
campus is good. I'm an Iowa State fan.
I
That's
didn't
all
know we
gotta
were
do.
that competitive at gymnastics to like barely.
Lose to defending champs.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently we are. I mean, with people like Laura on the team, how could we
Of
not be?
course.
How could we not be? Well, we are going to go ahead and transition into the James Cup. Okay.
Oh boy.
And I think today we're going to go ahead and pick a red.
Pick a red one.
Pick a red little token here, as James is wearing a red sweatshirt. You wanna?
Good hands.
Do you wanna do it?
Yeah. Oh,
Nice catch,
I know.
James. I'm interested to see what's in your brain today. What do we got?
Most time in a video game.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, James.
If you guys like don't know, just either look it up or give a ballpark or
Yeah,
whatever
roughly.
game. Yeah.
Roughly. Or what game have you put the most hours into?
Yeah.
I got over 125 days in Minecraft.
125 days,
So,
bro.
So-
What? Do the math, Jamie. Do the
Yikes.
math.
so granted, I do AFK. So I have.
What does
Okay.
that even mean?
That's where he's like farming when he's not away.
Where
He's
I'm-
not in actively playing.
Yeah. So I would just leave my Xbox on overnight, and I get a fuckload of resources because I have
That's
automated
cheating.
farms.
Yeah,
It's not
It's
cheating.
cheating.
That's cheating.
That's 100% cheating.
that's cheating.
You guys don't play the
Sorry
game.
about it. And Minecraft was that's mine. I have over 100 hours of actively playing Minecraft.
Yeah.
Or you don't think I have over 100 hours?
Rocket League's probably close. I think I have like 35 days in there, but
35.
days,
I have
yeah.
maybe 40 days in BO3, probably around 40 in Fallout 4, over 25 in Skyrim.
Jesus, this guy loves video games. What do we do?
Are we only
I've got-
talking Xbox and PlayStation?
What else? What else could
What do
you
you
be
play,
doing?
Rust?
Yeah,
Yeah,
phone
well,
games. would
For
be-
me, Clash of Clans would be up there if we
you
include
can't even
phone.
play Clash Clans though.
You can't play
That's
Clash of
crazy.
Clans.
Yeah, but I've
Fuck.
been playing it for like
No,
12 years, you know?
Active
in-game
says the guy who
hours.
just brought
Yeah.
up a game where he's Oh wow, okay.
No, I'm not like closing out of the app.
Yeah, you just said you leave Minecraft on at night, and that was your go-to.
But he's not leaving Clash of Clans on the entire day.
I
That's
guess.
the difference.
Okay, so yours is Clash Clans. Do you have like? You probably have to be Fortnite then, huh?
on my console, it would have to be Fortnite.
How many
Yeah.
do you think?
I got no idea.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. This guy plays Fortnite
Like
competitively.
over 60 or what?
I mean, he
don't know.
placed like 5th in the nation.
True.
You right up there on
Fact
the
check
pedestal
me.
next to Booga,
Fact check it. Somebody
Booga,
fact check it. There's no way.
Next to Ninja.
Yeah.
Who do you think Dr. Disrespect is?
I
I've never
know who it
seen
is.
Red and Doctor Disrespect the same room at the same time.
Nobody has.
Nobody.
Nobody has.
It's
Have you guys seen the clip of him where he's like,
You
"Hey,
mean Red?
eyes on me"? I know you're looking at my arms. Have you ever seen that?
I have not. I
I
never
was
watched.
totally looking at
That's
his arms when he
Is
said
it Nick Merckx? Like huge?
Yeah.
The guy that doesn't cuss, the family-friendly guy.
That's
No.
Nick A30.
Okay.
Nick
Didn't
Merckx.
Nick
I
Merckx
think.
play like collegiate football or something?
I think so. Yeah, he's huge. He's a big guy.
He's like, well, stocky looking linebacker type guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Works.
Well,
It
today,
sounds familiar.
today we learned that James loves his video games. So.
What do you think yours?
No, he likes turning
said
them
Rocket
on when he sleeps.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't play them.
Big idle games guy.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. I'd cook any of you.
Oh shit. Well, I say mine was either Rocket League or Minecraft. I don't really like.
Not in Rocket League. I never played Rocket League.
I'm a big Rocket League guy. I'll get it on for a couple
I
games.
don't
but
like it. It's too technical.
It's
for
very
me.
technical.
And I don't.
Your depth perception's not very good
The
either.
camera. Hey, fuck. The camera, like it'll just. Foom, foom, foom,
Yeah,
foom.
it's very quick.
I don't.
Very quick.
I'm just not used to it. But
I can't
granted,
play-
I don't play the game.
I can't play for very long, so I know where you're coming from.
If you include PS3, I'd be up there on NCAA 14.
Ooh, NCAA football's coming back soon. Like
Yep.
6 years from now.
Yeah,
It's coming out next year, right?
Allegedly.
It's
I
supposed
will
to,
see
I
that
think.
game getting to Madden. And
Oh, 100%. I have
Just
the
say
Madden
I
and
can
NHL
actually
and all
play.
that stuff on the Xbox. I bought it because I was like, oh, before the show, you guys come in and play video games. Apparently not.
I'm,
James doesn't play video games.
No,
No, not a big video games guy.
I've never played Madden. Or
What?
2K.
We got it. And 2K.
Really?
I have Madden, 2K, NH. I got all the games. I got
I've
this
never
whole
played it.
studio set up, and everyone's like, yeah, I'm just going to show up 16 seconds after the show starts. And
After. That's
Yeah.
pretty accurate,
No,
actually.
literally, these two.
I've never played like a real sports game.
Well, we'll have to fire it up when the show is done. Speaking of, I think this is probably our ending point. We want to say another quick shout out to Laura. Can we get a group round of applause for Laura
Yep.
coming on? That was huge. I loved the interview. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Laura, for coming
great.
on. And then other than that, we will see you guys Monday at 6 p.m. We're going to be running it back. Hopefully a lot of sports happen this weekend, a lot of interesting topics. This is the absolute dead of, I think, sports in
We got
general.
March Madness previews starting up here next week, probably.
That's what I'm saying. I think we made it through the hardest part, so I'm very excited about where the show
Another
is going to be
special
going.
guest on Wednesday.
Yes, very special guest Wednesday, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Otherwise, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the live. Be sure to follow the socials and use code MarvOnAir for $20 off your first order at SeatGeek, as we always say. With that being said, anything from the couch?
Deuces.